Hello, welcome to our English News Edition brought to you live by the RTD channel. The top stories. A meeting was held on improving the business climate. And on the international news, Donald Trump talks about North Korea and immigration in his speech. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. The National Agency for Investment Promotion, in partnership with the Housing Department, organized a meeting this morning on improving the business climate. The meeting focused on issuing building permits in our country. In addition to officials of the National Agency for the Promotion of Investment, ANIB, also took part the Secretary General of the Ministry in charge of Investment to the Presidency, Abdelmi Akshir, and Secretary General of the Environment in APTA, Mr. Dini Abdullah. The heads of Department of the Demons, the City Hall, as well as the senior executives of other departments concerned. The meeting was jointly chaired by Mr. Abdelmi Akshir and Mr. Dini Abdullah. Djibouti has put in place a multi-sector strategy to improve the business climate. In 2017, the Republic of Djibouti was charged positively for its efforts to facilitate direct investment by a doing business rating agency affiliated with the World Bank. Djibouti therefore seeks to improve its performance in this area and be better ranked by the rating agency. Doing business in multi-sector meetings are regularly organized to attract investors. The granting of building permits must thus be facilitated. A new coordination exercise between the several organizations fighting against all forms of illegal maritime traffic opened this morning at the training center of Djiboutian Coast Guards. This center is located in Durale. This exercise is part of training courses called Cutlass Express, which brings together 15 countries from East Africa and the West Indian Ocean region. This U.S.-supported exercise is taking place simultaneously in Djibouti and Seychelles. Somalia takes part for the first time. This exercise aims to deal with serious problems at sea, such as illegal fishing, the trafficking of weapons and drugs, and finally the permanent threat of piracy. During this Cutlass Express exercise, the emphasis will be on the importance of collaboration between the maritime operation centers of the participating countries. The launch of this exercise coincides with the 10th anniversary of the creation of the Commander of the Army Force of the United States of Africa, AFRICOM. The chiefs responsible for the Coast Guards, the Navy, and the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of the United States participated in the launch of the military exercise Cutlass Express, gathering 15 countries, and which will last for several days. And now let's follow the interventions of the Deputy Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of the United States of America and the Vice Commander of the 6th Fleet of the United States Navy.
First, on behalf of U.S. Naval Forces Africa, I would like to thank the citizens, government, and military officials and the media of Djibouti for their heartfelt welcome offered to the military members from all countries participating in Cutlass Express 2018. Colonel Major Sher, we thank you for being here today and for your continued partnership. My old friend, Colonel Weiss, thank you very much for hosting today's opening ceremony at your great establishment. Cutlass Express 2018 focuses on strengthening maritime partnerships and interoperability in the East African and West Indian Ocean region. This exercise will improve on existing regional cooperation. Today, together we face serious challenges at sea, such as illegal fishing, trafficking of weapons, narcotics, people, and the ongoing threat of piracy. Our efforts here will make the region a safer place for maritime commerce and will help increase prosperity throughout the region.
It is a great privilege for me to be here with you today, and as the son of a U.S. Coast Guard officer, a tremendous honor to mark the opening of this important exercise, Cutlass Express, one of our most important recurring engagements with the Djiboutian government. Cutlass Express helps to address directly one of the key international security challenges of the region. Maritime security is what has brought us here together today, but it is also what makes Djibouti such a valuable country for a wide range of international partners.
In speaking for this occasion, this is how the Deputy Minister of Internal Security of Somalia expressed himself.
I would like to thank Africacom and Nicholas Express for the great opportunity for Somalia to be a member of the African Maritime Security Group. This ceremony is unique in its kind because it is the first ceremony that Somalia has been part since 30 years. I would like to advise the Somalian participants to this training to focus and learn as much as they can so that their country, Somalia, gets benefit from it. Knowing that Somalia is among the largest maritime coast in Africa, which has approximately 4,000 miles of coast. Speaking to the officers participating to this training, we have a large maritime coast that needs to be secured. The teaching you all getting from here are a benefit for all of you, for the trainers and the sponsors as well as your own country, but also for our brother country, Djibouti. So it is in our duty to give the best of us.
As for the Djibouti Navy, Colonel Burhan Adin Sher said the following.
This year we are welcoming with honor the Marines of our neighboring countries. Somalia, Comoros, Kenya, Mozambique are taking part of this exercise training next to the Djiboutian Marines, but also other exercises in other zones like Madagascar and Mauritius Island. The objective of this exercise training is to develop the cooperation between maritime forces and the application of the standard process put in place by the COP-NICEF. The Indian Ocean is a strategic area with the Detroit of Bab el-Mandeb, which is an obligatory way for commercial ships coming to Europe and North of America. With the opening service of the training center located in Jeddah and the other center located in Dorale, Claude Douglas became, in those recent years, one more tool to the Maritime Coast Guard Chief for the accomplishment of the maritime security of Djibouti as well as the preservation of the economic interest of the region.
And finally, closing this series of interventions, the Colonel Wais Samar Bokore talked about the importance of this exercise. Let's listen to him.
It is a great honor to welcome you in the Naval Base and Training Center for Djibouti Coast Guard in Dorale for the opening ceremony of the annual multinational maritime exercise, Cutlass Express 2018. This exercise is one of 3 Africa Fox regional series exercise sponsored by United States of America through US Navy Africa, and they conduct financially and conduct as well. And all these initiatives and the financial brings together the Coast Guards and the navies in the region as well as the other countries participating to securing the maritime security in our region here. Thank you for all the countries sharing in this exercise. This exercise gathering several countries in the region like Comoros, Kenya, Mozambique and Somalia, as well as observers from Australia, Canada, France, Denmark, Holland, Turkey and the East Africa standby force. This is an opportunity to actively strengthen regional cooperation and the collaboration. This exercise increases maritime capabilities and the maritime security and the safety, and to let the sea safe for international trade, as well as increasing the sharing of information and the facilitates communications and the interoperability between the involved maritime forces participant in this exercise today.
Indeed, a unique art. The French Institute of Djibouti organized Tuesday evening an exhibition entitled The Arts of the Feminine, where it is highlighted the use of henna instead of gouaches or oil paintings to design paintings of art. This exhibition is the first of its kind. Paintings by young male and female artists were presented. These young people were mentored by Patrice Ayane, artist and painter, who also added his personal touch. Nim'a, Dunya, Hibo, Mahdi and Ahmed, wearing young artist painters, were able to present their paintings for the first time. The exhibition welcomed a varied audience of connoisseurs but also ordinary people. To encourage this initiative, the French ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Christophe Guillou, did not hesitate to make the trip. This exhibition will last for 2 weeks and the public is greatly invited to discover these paintings made with henna. On the news outside our borders, for State of the Union address for Donald Trump, the U.S. President spoke in Congress where he presented his balance sheet and plans for the coming year by inviting parliamentarians and Americans to unity. Donald Trump presented his plans for the coming year and devoted 20 minutes of his speech to immigration. He said he wants to offer a path to citizenship to 1.8 million young people who arrived in country as children, which is 3 times more than the number of young people who benefit from the protection program put in place by Obama. But the president wants to dry up the flow of new migrants and calls for securing the southern border with the construction of a wall. Instantly, the U.S. president spoke of North Korea. North Korea's dangerous quest for nuclear missiles could soon threaten our territory, he warned, but also Iran. America stands with the Iranian people in its courageous struggle for freedom, said Donald Trump in allusion to recent protests in Iran. He then reiterated his request to Congress to solve the fundamental problems of disastrous Iran nuclear deal. The summit on the future of Syria, organized by Moscow in Sochi, came to a halt on Tuesday. Representatives of the Syrian opposition protesting against the lack of their flag cancelled their visit, delaying the start of the conference. The Syrian National Dialogue Congress came to a head on Tuesday in the seaside resort of Sochi, Russia. Some Syrian rebels who have resigned themselves to participate in it furiously discovered on their arrival at the Sochi airport on Monday night that the logo of the conference, including only the official Syrian flag and not the one created by the Syrian flag opposition at the beginning of the conflict, with 3 stars between green and black strips. The rebels refused to leave the terminal, where they spent the night and decided to fly back. The opening of the meeting was postponed for 2 hours while Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held talks with his Turkish counterpart to try to convince the Syrian opposition. And that's all for this evening news. Thank you for joining us on RTD channel and have a good night.